We invite you to watch the latest world news. Russia creates a pincer movement to squeeze Ukraine on the Eastern Front and Kursk. North Korea officially ratifies the defense treaty with Russia. Russia speaks out about the German Chancellor saying she will call Mr. Putin. Belarus officially declares itself a BRICS partner. Can Ukraine change the conflict with Russia with new ballistic missiles? The return of Mr. Donald Trump, and the unfavorable scenario for Ukraine. Russian intelligence reveals the US plan. Is Mr. Zelensky about to be replaced? Russia creates a pincer movement to squeeze Ukraine on the Eastern Front and Kursk. Dear friends, the escalating fighting along a front of more than 1.000 kilometers is causing Ukrainian forces to continue to be stretched thin to hold the front line. After Mr. Donald Trump won the US election, raising the prospect of negotiations with Russia, Russia has now gained control of about 1/5 of Ukraine's territory. In June, President Putin set out conditions for ending the fighting, including Ukraine abandoning its ambitions to join NATO and withdrawing all its troops from all 4 regions in the southeast of the country that Russia claims. The Commander-in-Chief of Ukraine's armed forces, General Oleksandr Syrskyi, said he was in Kursk, where the Ukrainian army made a surprise attack and achieved some results in early August. Ukrainian officials hope to turn Kursk into a bargaining chip if Kiev and Moscow have a chance to sit down for talks in the future. Russian forces are trying to push back Ukrainian troops and push deeper into the territory we control, Syrskyi said on Telegram. Ukraine said Russia had deployed 11,000 North Korean troops to the area and that the first clashes took place several days ago, and called on its allies to react strongly to the Russian North Korean troop deployment. General Syrskyi said the Kursk operation had forced Moscow to transfer some of its forces back to Russian territory to respond, helping to relieve some of the pressure on Ukraine's eastern fronts, where Russia is making its fastest offensive since 2022. According to the general, tens of thousands of enemy troops from Russia's best assault units will attack Ukrainian positions in the direction of Pokrovsk, Kurakovo or Torotsk. This will make the situation on the front line even more difficult for Kiev's army. Reuters quoted a Kiev military spokesman as saying that the Kremlin was transferring several groups of elite troops to key positions in the southern Zaporizhia region to prepare for a new offensive. The southern front has seen much less fighting since 2023 when Ukraine launched a major counteroffensive but was unable to break through heavily fortified and mined Russian-held territory. North Korea officially ratifies defense treaty with Russia, according to information released by KCNA today, November 12. The Treaty on Comprehensive Strategic Partnership between Russia and North Korea was ratified the day before, by order of Chairman Kim Jong-un. KCNA emphasized that this treaty will take effect from the day the two sides exchange ratification documents. In June, Mr. Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin signed the above treaty in Pyongyang. The treaty includes a clause committing both countries to provide military support to each other in case either side is attacked. Previously, TASS news agency reported that Mr. Putin also ratified and signed the treaty into law on November 9. Since June, Russia and North Korea have raised their military partnership to a new level. Recently, TASS reported that Mr. Putin mentioned the possibility of Russia and North Korea holding joint military exercises. This shows that the military cooperation between the two sides is increasingly deepening. Russia speaks out about German Chancellor saying she will call Putin. On November 11, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov commented on German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's desire to resume contact with Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to RT, Peskov's reaction came shortly after Scholz said he was planning to talk to Putin by phone in the near future. provided that a consensus could be reached with Germany's partners. President Putin remains open to any talks, Peskov said, dismissing comments from German officials that the Russian leader did not want to engage in negotiations. The Kremlin spokesman added that the German and French leaders were the first to cut off direct communication lines with Russia after the conflict in Ukraine broke out in February 2022. Peskov stressed that Berlin has not made any official move to indicate that the German Chancellor wants to talk to Putin by phone. While President Putin remains open, there has been no request for a conversation from Berlin, Peskov added. According to Peskov, Western European leaders have expressed some concern about potential foreign policy changes following Donald Trump's re-election as US President. However, the Kremlin spokesman said the official position of the West remains to support the pumping of weapons into Ukraine to prolong the war. Germany has not commented on Peskov's remarks. According to RT, the last phone conversation between Scholz and Putin was in 2022. In early October, Peskov said that Moscow's door was still open, but said that Russian-German diplomatic relations had hit rock bottom. Belarus officially declared a partner of BRICS. The Belarusian foreign minister handed over to Russian Ambassador Boris Gryzlov a letter from President Alexander Lukashenko to Russian President Vladimir Putin, expressing his readiness to join BRICS as a partner country. On November 11, the Belarusian Foreign Ministry announced that the country had been officially recognized as a partner country of the BRICS group of leading emerging economies. According to the Belarusian Foreign Ministry, Belarusian Foreign Minister Maxim Ishankov handed over to Russian Ambassador Boris Gryzlov a letter from President Alexander Lukashenko to Russian President Vladimir Putin, expressing his readiness to join BRICS as a partner country. The Belarusian Foreign Ministry's statement stated, an official response to a written invitation is a mandatory procedure agreed upon by member states to recognize a country as a partner. From that moment on, the country is officially considered a partner of BRICS. In the letter, President Lukashenko stressed that BRICS has strengthened multilateral cooperation, becoming a pillar of the multipolar order since its inception based on the principles of mutual respect and equality. As a partner, Belarus will regularly participate in special sessions of BRICS summits and foreign ministers' meetings. Can Ukraine change the conflict with Russia with a new ballistic missile? According to the Telegraph, Mr. Yurchenev, chairman of the Ukrainian delegation to NATO, recently said that the country's Ream-2 missile is almost ready for operation. He emphasized that there will soon be specific results that not only Ukraine but also Russia can see. Ream-2 is a solid-fuel ballistic missile that can carry a warhead weighing nearly 500 kilograms, with a range of about 500 kilometers. Ream-2 is expected to be a big step forward compared to the most current missile that Ukraine is using on the battlefield, the Toka, which dates back to the 1970s. KB Pivden, a missile manufacturer in Dnipro, eastern Ukraine, has been researching Ream-2 for a decade. After Russia launched a special military operation in Ukraine in February 2022. Moscow's attacks on a series of industrial sites in Dnipro caused many difficulties for the development of the Ream-2. However, Ukrainian engineers eventually completed the design and built the first few Ream-2 missiles. President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that Ukraine had successfully tested a new missile, apparently the Ream-2, for the first time in August. The Ream-2 will give Ukraine the ability to strike deep into Russian territory for the first time without being constrained by Western allies. Previously, the US, UK, and France had provided Ukraine with precision munitions with a range of hundreds of kilometers. However, all three countries banned Ukraine from using these weapons to attack targets deep inside Russian territory. The return of Donald Trump, and the downside scenario for Ukraine. Donald Trump is not only on his way back to the White House, but he could return as one of the most powerful US presidents in decades. He won both the popular vote and the Electoral College, and Republicans control both the House and the Senate. This could be his last term. So there is little that can stop him from implementing his boldest visions. Having a strong vertical axis would also give him the ability to make quick decisions and put them into action. The Ukrainian newspaper Kyiv Independent has outlined 3 downside scenarios for Ukraine if Trump returns to the White House. Trump and his surrogates have expressed skepticism and opposition to continued aid to Ukraine. Figures like billionaire Elon Musk, who helped Ukraine with Starlink, have made anti-Ukrainian statements on social media. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance said Taiwan is more important to the United States than Ukraine. However, Trump's public statements are not a reliable indicator of his policy plans. Information about his private conversations and views, including with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, reveals more about the president-elect's views. Russian intelligence reveals US plans. Is Zelensky about to be replaced? After Donald Trump was officially elected US president, Russian intelligence, SVR, made a shocking accusation. According to the accusation, the US is secretly planning to replace Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. No longer just rumors. SVR affirmed that the US State Department is actively studying legal scenarios to remove Zelensky, including holding presidential and parliamentary elections in Ukraine next year. Despite the ongoing conflict, according to SVR, Washington has begun paving the way for this election campaign. Western-backed activists are quietly forming a new pro-US party in Ukraine. The goal of this party, according to SVR, is to gain seats in parliament, thereby controlling and putting pressure on any Ukrainian leader. SVR believes that this is clear evidence that the US is deciding the fate of Ukraine and its future leaders. Washington not only wants to control the battlefield situation but also wants to install a puppet government that serves its interests. Previously, SVR revealed that the US is targeting former Ukrainian Interior Minister Arsen Avakov as a candidate to replace Zelensky, thanks to his close ties with nationalist groups and European leaders. SVR also accused the US of launching a media campaign to smear Zelensky, aiming to force him to resign. Although Ukrainians are increasingly dissatisfied with the prolonged conflict and have lost faith in the government, especially after Zelensky's term officially ends in May 2024. The West still wants him to stay in office. The reason, according to SVR, is that Zelensky plays an important role in maintaining the flow of aid, bringing huge profits to Ukrainian officials and Western arms manufacturers. Are SVR's allegations true? Time will tell. However, this information will certainly increase tensions between the parties and make the situation in Ukraine even more unpredictable. The news on Hot News Channel 24 Hours will stop here. If you find the video content interesting, please like, comment and share. You and your friends click subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon in the bottom right corner of the screen to receive notifications of the latest uploaded videos. Thank you.